Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the video series on the 6 functions of problem exploration for the change and implementation process. This series is produced by the Capacity Building Center for States and funded by the Children's Bureau. Before going any further, have you read the problem exploration brief and completed the first section of the problem exploration workbook? If not, we recommend you take some time to complete these steps and then return here to where you left off. Before we begin, we'd like you to take a few minutes to consider your own experience with using data. Reflect on the following questions to identify areas in the series where you can work to build your own skills or look for partnerships and resources to support these efforts. Use your problem exploration workbook to write down your answers to these questions. Remember, you can pause this video at any time to record your thoughts and refer to them as you complete all 6 videos in the series. Have you ever used data before in your work? Have you used data to find out more about a problem? Have you ever tried to solve a problem without trying to understand it first? What happened? Can you think of a time you successfully used data to inform you or your team? Take a moment to reflect and record your responses if you need to. Across the board, implementation science frameworks highlight the importance of beginning with problem exploration. The process of identifying what needs to change, why it needs to change, and how we know that it needs to change. It's only natural to begin with an identified gap, opportunity for improvement, or unmet need. Once that gap or need is identified, the process of problem exploration helps a team take steps to better understand the problem fully before developing a solution. This work is critical. Without understanding the nature and underlying causes of the problems, jurisdictions risk implementing the wrong solutions. This can result in wasted time and valuable agency resources, and ultimately it could make it difficult, if not impossible, to improve outcomes for children and families. The problem exploration brief is intended to help child welfare agency leaders, managers, teams, and stakeholders use data to dig deeper into identified problem areas and establish a solid foundation for the rest of the change and implementation process. It does this by providing a step-by-step guidance about each of the 6 functions or tasks to complete when conducting problem exploration. 1. Identify a problem. 2. Create a data plan to explore the problem. 3. Collect and analyze the data. 4. Identify possible contributing factors and possible root causes. 5. Explore and validate the possible root causes. And 6. Isolate the root cause or causes to address. In this module, we will kick off our conversation about problem exploration by looking at number 1, identify a problem. Before a team can hope to create lasting practice or systemic change, they must first identify a problem, need, or opportunity. Often teams identify problems as part of regular and ongoing improvement efforts. Exploring problems as they arise is the starting point to initiate positive change. Effective change and implementation centers on the use of quality data to better understand complex situations and to inform decision-making. Data helps to demonstrate there is a problem, to understand the nature of the problem, to explore the underlying root cause or causes of the problem and contributing factors, to determine who is most affected by the problem, to examine areas of strong practice, and inform an appropriate response. Without initially identifying a problem using data, teams cannot begin to explore the scope, impact, or causes. Understanding complex problems will help teams make better decisions about the potential solutions that will improve programs, services, and outcomes. Problems, needs, and opportunities for improvement generally come to the attention of child welfare organizations through a source of data or information. There are multiple resources within reach that can be used to help identify problems. Think about federal reviews, data reports, assessments, as well as CQI activities, stakeholder groups, and the media. As you work through identifying a problem, use your data sources, including stakeholders, to answer questions and explore the following. What is the existing evidence of the problem? Who is affected by it? What is the interest in or urgency for addressing the problem among agency leadership and key stakeholders? What is the goal or desired outcome that will result from addressing the problem? And what is the agency's readiness for addressing the problem? Answering these questions as a team can help to prioritize the problems they want to explore further. In the brief, we're introduced to a state who is beginning the process of problem exploration. Let's imagine that our state had implemented a family engagement program in the previous round of reviews. Through the review process, a problem has been identified that suggests the agency is not meeting performance standards in providing services to children and families that meet their needs. To better understand this problem, the agency has pulled together a team of staff and stakeholders to determine how the problem is impacting the community, how they want to change it, and to document their desired outcome. Note that the team members include child welfare staff at different levels of the organization and from different program and operational areas, such as caseworkers, supervisors, managers, and administrators, as well as stakeholders, including birth parents. Engaging stakeholders and building a team with diverse experience and perspectives are particularly important to problem exploration. This helps the team to better understand the problem and creates buy-in for the later steps. Now that the state has gathered a team of stakeholders, what might be their next step in problem exploration? The next step in problem exploration is creating a data plan. Before we move forward, let's take a moment to check in on what you've learned about identifying a problem. Why do teams identify a problem? Teams identify a problem to begin exploring the need in more detail. How do teams identify a problem? Teams turn to internal and external sources such as stakeholder groups, data reports, assessments, federal reviews, and CQI findings. What can help teams to identify a problem? Asking questions to determine existing data, who is affected, the urgency, desired outcome, and agency readiness. Now take this a step further by reviewing the reflection questions for Identify a Problem in your problem exploration workbook. Up next is Create a Data Plan, the second function in problem exploration. We asked you earlier to reflect on your own experience with data. As we talk about the other functions in problem exploration, you will learn about what kind of data is important and how to collect and analyze it to better understand problems.